In 1919, 17-year-old Milton Erickson woke up to a nightmare. His body was paralyzed. Over the next few days, the paralysis spread like a shadow. The diagnosis was polio, a terrifying epidemic. As he lay helpless in his bed, he heard his mother talking to two specialists. Assuming Milton was asleep, one doctor delivered a brutal verdict. The boy will be dead by morning. His mother came into his room, her face a mask of grief. But Milton had heard every word. He wasn't ready to die. He asked her to move the chest of drawers. She thought he was delirious. He asked her to move it again and again. He had a reason. He was distracting his mother from her pain. But more, he was positioning the mirror on the chest. He needed it just right. If he began to lose consciousness, he would focus on the sunset in that mirror. He would hold on to that image. The sun always returned. Maybe he would too. Within hours, Milton Erickson fell into a coma, the silent prisoner. He did not die. 3 days later, he woke up. But the battle was far from over. The paralysis was now total. He was a living mind trapped in a dead body. He could not move. He could not speak. He could not even gesture. The only part of his body he could control was his eyeballs. Quarantined on his family's farm, his world shrank to the four walls of his room. The boredom was a form of torture. With nothing else to do, he began to watch. He observed his family. He listened. And one day, he noticed something he had never seen before. He discovered a secret second language. One sister said to another, "Yes, that's a good idea." But her voice was flat. Her lips curled in a tiny smirk. Her yes clearly meant no. Cracking the code. Suddenly, his prison became a laboratory. His mind, with no other distractions, became a supercomputer for human observation. It became a game. He counted 16 different ways his family said no, all with different expressions. He saw one sister say yes while giving an almost invisible shake of her head. He watched another sister offer an apple, but the tension in her arms screamed, "I am only being polite. I want this for myself." He became an expert. He noticed the veins in his sister's necks pulse when they felt nervous. He learned the rhythms of their breathing. He could spot the shallow breath of boredom seconds before a yawn. He even learned their hair. A slow, deliberate brush back meant, "I've heard enough. Shut up." A quick, unconscious stroke meant, "I'm fascinated." Trapped in silence, Milton Erickson learned the language the body speaks when the mouth is saying something else. The twitch. Months later, he had regained his speech, but his body was still useless. He sat in a special chair, watching his siblings play outside. A desperate, burning desire rose in him. "I want to join them." In his mind, he willed himself to stand. And then he felt it. A single, shocking twitch in a muscle in his leg. The first movement he had felt in his body. The doctors had been wrong about his death. He decided they were wrong about his recovery too. He began an experiment. He would focus on a single muscle. He would remember the sensation of moving it. He would imagine it working. It was an excruciatingly slow process. But through pure, focused willpower, he taught himself to stand. Then to take a step. Then to walk. He had willed his body back to life. The doctor who saw everything. Erickson decided to pursue medicine and psychology. But he threw out the rulebook. Other psychiatrists listened to words. Erickson knew better. Words he knew were often a cover-up. His motto was simple: observe, observe, observe. He watched people walk. He saw the heavy, emphatic walk of the persistent. The light step of the indecisive. The strut of high confidence. He placed his desk at the far end of his office, just so he could watch his patients walk toward him. He could read their insecurities before they even sat down. His results were legendary. One patient was a man who had lost his fortune. He just cried and moved his hands back and forth, back and forth. Erickson understood instantly. The man was acting out his life's futile efforts. Erickson didn't talk. He simply changed the motion. He guided the man's hands to move up and down. Then he placed sandpaper in the man's hands and a piece of wood in front of him. The man began to sand. He stopped crying. He took up woodworking and was cured. The body cannot lie. To his patients, Erickson seemed psychic. A beautiful young woman came to his office. As she talked, Erickson watched her pick a tiny piece of lint off her sleeve. Suddenly, he asked, "How long have you been wearing women's clothes?" The woman was a man, stunned. How did he know? Erickson explained that a biological woman's hand naturally detours around the breast to pick lint. This person's gesture was direct and linear. It was a male gesture. Another woman came in, claiming a phobia of flying. Erickson watched her sit. Her legs were crossed in a very tight position, one foot completely locked around the other ankle. Erickson interrupted her. "Madam, does your husband know about your love affair?" She was astonished. He explained that her body was locked up, just like her secret. Milton Erickson could read people's minds, not through magic, but because he had mastered the second language. The language he learned as a paralyzed boy, with nothing to do but watch.